Now, yesterday we had discussed a few shlokas, and Dr. Irappa made a request that we should do a few more. It so happens that you have just, played one of the most beautiful shlokas or mantras here, which is called, generally known as the Gayatri mantra, but is also known as the Savitra mantra. So I would like to start by explaining what that mantra says, because we keep hearing this mantra all over the place, even in caller tunes. So what does it mean? It is basically not a prayer to Gayatri Devi. It is a prayer to Savitra, which is the sun or the giver of energy or the giver of life. So what it says is, when it says Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam Bharga Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. I will explain in part by part. I unfortunately do not have a slide on this, but I'll explain it. So, when you are starting in Sanskrit, you try to understand the meaning from the verb in the whole sentence or the shloka or the sutra. So here, the verb is towards the end of the sutra. It basically says, Dhiyo means I pray to, or I become one with, or I think about in my mind of whom? I think about the Varenyam Deva Savitra. Varenya means the most glamorous, the most radiant, the most brilliant Deva Savitra. And when Bhargo means that that radiance that comes out, Bharga Devasya, so that brilliant radiance of that Deva Savitra. And the second part of the sentence starts from the beginning and goes towards the end. It says, Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. It means my mind should travel. Prachodayat means my mind should travel. Dhiyo, my mind should travel. Towards what? Towards Bhu Bhuva Swa. Bhu means the earth. Bhuva means the globe, the universe, and Swa means the whole cosmic energy. So my mind, my mental inclinations should go from the most crude to the most subtle. So it should go from the earth upwards towards the cosmic energy or the cosmic spirit. So it says in two parts that first of all, I think of, I remember, I bow down to that brilliant radiance of the Deva Savitra, who is the life giver, and may my mind travel from the crudeness to the subtleness so that I grow spiritually. This is basically the meaning of this mantra, which is generally known as the Gayatri mantra, but it is actually the Savitra mantra. And why it is called Gayatri mantra is that it is created in a chanda or meter. Chanda is the way you write a particular sutra. So this is written in Gayatri Chanda. Gayatri is the name of a chanda as well. So this particular sutra is written in Gayatri Chanda, and hence it has somehow become popularly known as Gayatri Mantra. So there are many other mantras which are written in Gayatri Chanda, and there are many other, in fact, Gayatri mantras, but this is the one that we know, which is Savitri Mantra. Now, so today we will cover these 8 topics, out of which 3 to 8 will be actual practice. The first 2, which is speech and reading, are very brief sessions. So I will cover them first, and then we will go into actual practice, because after actual practice and when we are at the Prashanti level, after that I do not want to come back to any presentation. So we will do these 2 brief topics to start with. So we start with speech. What you see on the screen is the alphabet, Sanskrit alphabet. Now, reason why speech is a very important part of yoga is that the whole concept of yoga starts with sound. The whole world is said to have a vibration, which in terms of physics is one kind of vibration, and in terms of yoga there is another vibration. However, it seems that these 2 vibrations are somehow coming closer and closer and closer. So we believe in yoga that there is a cosmic vibration which is all over the place. It is in every cell of our body, and it is these vibrations which create a positive impact on our body, mind, and our spiritual experience. So whenever we speak, whatever sound that comes out of our mouth, it should be a clean sound. We have seen yesterday that Shocha, cleanliness, is one of the important parts of Niyama, which is the second step of yoga. So that includes our speech. Our speech should be such that whenever I speak, anybody who is listening to it should be able to understand it clearly. Not only that, I must speak it correctly, in the sense that I may speak it not correctly, yet other people hearing it can understand it. But the objective is that we must speak clearly, correctly. So when you write sutras in Sanskrit, or even when you read the alphabets, I'll come back to the alphabets, there are rules. There are 6 rules of how you should write a sutra in Sanskrit. But that is a topic for another day. But in that sutra, it very clearly mentions that you should not have redundancy, it should be clear, it should not be repeated, and so on and so forth. So there are 6 qualities given for a sutra, which basically tells us that the Sanskrit speech can be clear, concise, precise, without error. And when we utter or chant the mantras, even without knowing the meaning of the mantras, what it does is, the way the sound comes out creates a vibration in our whole body. Yesterday we chanted Aum. Now these 3 parts of the chant are very, very important, because each one of those components create a different kind of vibration in our body. So speech is very important. In fact, it is so important that even if you do not understand a mantra at all, but recite it correctly and enough number of times, you are supposed to get benefits. For instance, we have seen yesterday that we did Kapal Bhati. What we did was, we exhaled forcefully. we exhaled using our stomach muscles, abdominal muscles, and we exhaled forcefully, and we said that it cleans our brain, kapal, forehead, but it basically cleans or brightens our head. So forceful exhalation has an impact. And now, when you utter a Sanskrit word like swaha, which is basically a combination of 3 alphabets, sa, va, and here, which is pronounced as whatever is the vowel just before it, followed by ha. So ha is a sound where you are releasing air from your abdomen. Ha, ha. So the air is coming out. So every time you say swaha, what you are basically doing is you are cleansing your brain. You say swaha, ha. So which is something like Kapalbhati, where you are exhaling forcefully from the stomach. So the way these mantras or sutras are chanted, by the chanting itself, they have some benefit. And they also regulate our breathing. So the second part of understanding how Sanskrit sutras are written or how Sanskrit speech is that, you know, they are written, like I mentioned, Gayatri Chanda. Most of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, etc. are written in what is called Anushtup Chanda. Now, Anushtup Chanda is a chanda where you have 8 syllables in each part, and there are 4 parts, or even 2 parts. I'll give you an example, and it will become very easy to understand how it creates a rhythm in the sutra, and then when you speak, it becomes rhythmic. So the first shloka in Gita says, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava. So if you analyze this, it will go as Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. So there are 8 syllables, and then there are 2 types of syllables called Laghu and Guru, and by a suitable combination of Laghu and Guru, you create a rhythm. So these mantras that have been written down may have a meaning, may not have a meaning, but they have a purpose. When you chant, they give you, automatically they give you pranayama. So pranayama, whatever we will discuss in a little more details today, whatever you are supposed to do in pranayama, some of them automatically happen when you chant these mantras. So historically, most of us, because we do not know Sanskrit, we keep hearing these mantras and we keep chanting them, and we may feel that, oh, I don't know the meaning of this, but it is all right, because these are actually activities of pranayama. So all the sutras, not all, many sutras and mantras are specifically written to aid in our pranayama activity. And that is why speech must be very, very clean and clear, in the sense that when a Keralite priest goes to Kedarnath temple, because Kedarnath temple priests are all from Kerala, and when they chant mantras in Sanskrit, it is pure Sanskrit that they are chanting. You will not hear a Kerala accent. But if the same person speaks in English, you will immediately know that this person is not from, let's say, Assam or Kashmir or Orissa. You will know that this person is from Kerala or South India or something. So in Sanskrit, the speech is always clean. But since we do not use Sanskrit, it is very, very important that whatever language we use, we ensure that our speech is clean and clear so that everybody understands what we are saying. Otherwise, the purpose of communication gets defeated. Right. So now I go to the second topic, which is basically some readings and charts. You know, it is important to learn any subject to go into some level of depth. If you do something on the surface, you may do it correctly, you may not do it correctly, but you are not aware whether you're doing it correctly or not. So to understand or know that, yes, I'm doing it correctly and completely and clearly, it is good either to have a guru, which is the Indian tradition, Guru Shishya Parampara. And if you cannot find a guru, you do some reading, because then you treat the granthas or the books as your guru. It is very clearly written in a whole lot of, these slokas related to yoga that you must learn it from a guru. But then today, in today's world, the concept of Guru Shishya does not exist in the way that the yogic seers and the sages had anticipated and visualized. So we have to fall back on certain books. And it is clear that since the books have been written, published, they have some value. So I will just share with you some of the books that I read often to try and understand the meaning of whatever I am doing in yoga. And let me tell you that every time I read the same book again, and even the same shloka again, I may find a slightly different meaning and a slightly deeper meaning. So it is necessary that you read the same thing more than once. This is one of the niyamas called Swadhyaya, but I am just giving you a very brief exposure. So I will show you some of the books that I have read. That I read. That I read. The first book that inspires me is this book called Bhagavad Gita. Here, you all know, I mean, in India, everybody knows what is Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna is giving advice to Arjuna on the battlefield. Most importantly for me, this is where the initial instructions on yoga and relevance of yoga is given in our life. We discussed one of the shlokas, 2-50 yesterday, which ended with the phrase, Yogaha Karmasu Kaushalam, which is relevant for us engineers. Then we have one of the yogas called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the branch of yoga, or one of the schools of yoga, where you do your work dispassionately, well, so that it benefits the whole world. Again, in Gita, there was a shloka that Karmanye Vadhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachanam, meaning you have adhikar, you have a duty to do your karma, but Ma Phaleshu Kadachanam. Ma means no, Phal means result, Esha means desire, Kadachanam ever. So you do your karma, but don't expect or don't desire for the result. It does not mean that you work without any desire. It has a slightly deeper meaning. It basically comes back to what we had seen earlier, that you do your job well, and if you have done your job well, that is all that you can do. whatever result comes, you have to accept. You have studied very hard. You have written your exam very well, but then towards the end, somehow, you had a bout of cough or fever or whatever, and you could not finish the exam, and your result was not good. There's nothing you can do. There are certain things that are in your control. There are certain things that are not in your control. Whatever is in your control, you do it to the best of your ability, and then the results, whatever result comes, you have to accept. That is the meaning of that phrase, ma phaleshu kadachanam. So coming back to this, so Karma Yoga is a book which is very, very encouraging and illustrative. And, I read this book when I was in school. This is the only book that I read when I was in school. And it gave me great motivation to do various things in my life. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we know that this is the fountainhead of the yoga documentation. There are 195 sutras in 4 chapters. Hatha Yoga Pradipika is one of those 2 books which actually writes down the details of how to do asanas and pranayamas and dhotis, shauchas, and so on and so forth. So this is a hands-on guide on how to do yoga. Similarly, Gheranda Samhita is another Samhita where asanas and pranayamas and mudras and bandhas, etc. have been explained, have been defined through shlokas. So these 2, that is Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Gheranda Samhita, along with the earlier Patanjali Yoga Sutra, these could be considered as the main texts as far as the common man is concerned. There are hundreds of references of yoga in all the scriptures, but as a common man, we are not. It is not possible for us to study everything. So these 3 act as a main guideline for anybody who wants to understand and practice yoga and get benefits from it. This is Sri Sri Yukteswar. He is the guru of Yogananda Paramhansa. And he wrote this book. It's a beautiful book called Holy Science. He has defined that we are not in Kali Yuga now. We are actually in ascending Dwapara Yuga. And things will only get better and better from today onwards. So while we keep hearing that we are in Kali Yuga and everything is getting spoiled and everything is going downhill, according to Sri Sri Yukteswara, that is not correct. We are actually in a yoga where things are going up. And I firmly believe, by seeing the signs over the last 50, 60 years that my eyes have opened and have understood the world, that we are actually going into a better and better world in spite of all the difficulties that we find, all the negativities that we see all around us. I find that we are actually going to a better world every day. Things are improving at a fairly good pace, and a lot of great things are happening which 100 years ago people did not even think about. But again, that's a topic, that's a big topic for some other day. Swami Vivekananda, you all know. So he wrote this brief booklet on how to do meditation. In the center is my guru, Nilmani Das. He wrote about 10-15 books. This is in Bengali, called Yoga Vyayam. So he even wrote a book for girls on health and beauty. This is a book on girls by Sri Nilmani Das on health and beauty. And I am going to skip. This is a beautiful book on mudra, Hasta Mudra and other mudras. Beautiful book on all kinds of yoga using mudras. Then there are yoga for back pain, for asthma, for positive health, arthritis, hypertension, heart disease. Somebody talked about heart disease. So this kind of a book could definitely benefit a person who has hypertension and or heart disease. So these are how-to books where you read the book and try and understand what is relevant for you. History of Yoga, beautiful CD, and so on. These are some of the books from Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry. Paramahansa Yogananda. This is the most famous book on yoga, rather of a yogi. So these are some of the books that are relevant. And now I'll show you just a brief sample of what can be done in a very, very simple manner. To understand yoga, which is not complicated at all. This is a chart made by my guru on yoga. And, if you look at this chart, there are so many yogasanas given, each with its description of how to do it. And then on what are the benefits of each. So I will just show you one. We have seen Padmasana yesterday. So here it describes how to do Padmasana, the lotus pose. This picture is of my yoga guru's son. Procedure: sit on a blanket, bend the right leg at the knee, fold it, then lift the right foot. So it describes exactly how you get into this position, and then what you do. And then it describes what are the benefits. The asana directs the larger supply of blood to the pelvic region, tones it up, and absorbs the internal secretions of the sexual glands, and thus controls sexual emotions and maintains the physical balance. It helps to acquire concentration, and thus it is essential for meditation and prayer. So I have these charts hanging in my room. Though I have looked at them hundreds of times, but I still hang them in my room because it brings my focus back. This is a Vajrasana we have seen yesterday. This Ustrasana, Madam Pushpa did beautifully yesterday. Gomukhasana that I discussed yesterday. Bhujangasana, Padma Madam did it. This also Pavan Muktasana she did. Ustrasana. And then Lokesh ji did, as long as he was sitting, I don't know about today, but yesterday as long as he was sitting, he was in a pose called Siddhyasana. Where is Siddhyasana? It should be on top. Okay, so I can't find Siddhyasana here. But anyway, so these are some of the material that I use, which helps me to do my yoga. Right. Now we come back and we start our practice. So we have about 50 minutes, but I will take about 40 minutes. And my objective is that if you can do it with me, it is good. You may not do it as forcefully as I might be doing it. That's fine. If it's the first time you're doing it. But you can just stand or lie down, whatever I am doing, and try to follow the movement so that tomorrow, if you want, you can look at the video and do it yourself. You can, keep pausing and going forward and do the whole exercise yourself. Because the whole purpose of today's presentation that I am giving now is that you should be able to follow these practices every day of your life. So naturally, I am not going to do any difficult asana, any difficult loosening exercise, any difficult pranayama, because each one of them have their own rules. But I will do things which are mostly simple. So with this, I will get up and start doing the practice. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So I will start by an exercise which is basically loosening. Shitila Karana we have seen yesterday. This exercise or this movement will give you immediate energy. When you start doing this practice, you may feel lethargic, you may feel this, that, and the other. So this exercise, the two movements that I'll be doing now, these are actually breathing movements, but they will immediately give you a lot of energy. So the first one is we pull up our hands straight, we breathe in and push the hands back, and we breathe out and bring the hands in. And we do this in a rhythmic manner. We don't force it. We do this in a smooth movement so that the respiration gets activated. So I'll do it 10 times. With this, my whole respiratory system gets energized. It is preferable that we do it 3 times, 10 times each, set of 3. The next one is also a breathing exercise where we swing our hands back and forth and then we lift them above our head. And this is done not in a rigid manner, this is done in a swinging manner. So that the body and the hand and the arms, shoulder, everything is loose, still we push the hand up and down. So again, as we are pushing the hand up and back, we inhale, and as the hand comes down, we exhale. I'm sorry you cannot see my hand when it goes up, but I will do it 10 times. Again, do 10 times and repeat it 3 times. With these two, your breathing respiratory system has got energized, you have loosened some muscles, and now we will do a very systematic way of loosening our joints, and I will explain to you. You see, we will start. We are doing upper body today. Yesterday I have shown you lower body, so today we will not actually do lower body, we will do upper body. So we will start with the fingers. Yesterday we had started with the toes. Today we will start with the fingers. Then we will go to the wrist. Then we will go to the elbow. Then we will go to the shoulder. Then we will go to the neck. Then we will go to the spine. So these are the loosening exercises we will do today. Yesterday, if you remember, we had started from the toe. Then we did the ankle, then we did the knee, and then we did the pelvic region. So with these two, when you combine the upper body and the lower body loosening exercises, you have basically ensured that throughout your body, most of your joints have been activated, most of your muscles have been activated. Most of your voluntary muscles have been activated. Voluntary muscles means the muscles that we decide to make work. Involuntary muscles are those that automatically work, like our heart, our lungs, our spleen, our kidney, and so on. So which we do not have control most of the time. So all the voluntary muscles and the joints, etc., get energized at the end of this combination of upper body loosening and lower body loosening. So we will do upper body loosening. So the fundamental principle of joint loosening is that every joint, there is a particular direction of movement that is available. Some joints move only in one direction. Some joints move in multiple directions. So whichever joint we can move in all 3 directions, we will move them in all 3 directions. Whichever joint moves in only one direction, we will move it only one direction. So let us start with the fingers. Now fingers do not move, the finger joints move only in one direction. So we will do 2 brief exercises which does the finger joint. So you spread your fingers like this. What I will do, though you are supposed to do it like this, I will do it with one hand, I will just to show you. So you should do it like this, with the palms facing down. But just to show you, so spread your fingers as you are breathing in and spread it hard, and then you make a fist. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So when you are doing this, so now we come to the second exercise for the fingers. You know why this finger and palm exercise is very important? We are sitting with our mouse or pen a whole lot of time of the 24 hours. So our fingers, don't move. We don't utilize our fingers the way, we keep them stiff. Either mouse or steering wheel or pen or something or the other. So it is very important that you keep them mobile. A lot of young people, they get pain here because of holding the mouse whole day long. People who are working in the IT industry or people who are working with a computer whole day. So it is very important that you take care of your palm. So the second exercise of the palm is that you make a claw. You make a claw and make it tight. So what you do, you make a claw, make it tight, so tight that even your arms and all that start shivering. Make it tight. So what happens is, with this, your finger joints, they get additional strength and it prevents occurrences of difficulties, joint difficulties in later life. And in daily life, if you do these two, you ensure that your palms are all right. Now we come to the wrist. Wrist is a joint that can move in kind of three directions. So let us see, the first direction is this, up and down, up and down. The second direction is left and right. And the third direction is, if you hold it, there is a slight movement. Not much. Because there are two bones here, so they move a little bit. And there are two joints, so they move a little bit. So you take your wrist and do these three. Then you do we will not do this movement, we will do something else which will take care of that movement as well. So what we will do now is, we will make a fist and we will rotate the fist in two directions. So you hold your hands, make fist and rotate them. So even if you do not do this movement, just wrist rotation also does some of that job. Though it does not do it as well. Because this movement is much more pronounced than this movement. Because your fist is restricting the movement of the joint. So finger 2 practices, wrist 3 practices. And all these practices you do 10 times and then set up 3. Then we come to the elbow joint. Elbow joint moves only in one direction. It can only move like this, it cannot move in any other direction. So elbow joint, we breathe in and bring our fingers to our shoulder. Then we breathe in and with a forceful exhalation, we throw the hand forward. So what you're doing, you're breathing in. So with this, the elbow joints, they get energized and they get lubricated, and you take care of them in this way. So again, you do it 10 times and 3 sets. I'm not going to do it 10 times because it take a lot of time. Then we come to the shoulder. The shoulder joint is very interesting. We will first move it up and down. Then we will move it forward and backward. And then we'll do a rotational movement. So if we do up and down, two things happen. One is that we help the shoulder joint to move up and down and make it work. But if you do it quickly and for a significant length of time, like a minute or two, it will also help you to clean your lymph nodes that are around here. So when we do this exercise, we not only do loosening exercise for the shoulder, we also clean our lymph nodes. I'll show it to you. Like this. You can do it for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, as long as you can. So this is a very good exercise for 2 reasons. Now we do the shoulders, went up and down. Now it will go forward and back, but we'll also do some more work. So let us see how it works. So we push the shoulders back while you are breathing in, and pull them forward while we are breathing out. This, in addition to the shoulder, does whole lot of other things with whole lot of other muscles and joints, the ribs, the back, and all that. But let us right now focus only on the shoulder. So we do up and down, we do back and forward. Now we'll do something very interesting on shoulder joint, which is you pull your hands up like this. Then while breathing in, you push them. So as you are breathing in, you are pushing them out. As you are breathing out, you are bringing them in. This is very good for shoulder. And I'll show you just one more exercise for shoulder. So this again gives a good rotation in this axis for the shoulder joint. So we have now done shoulder. Now we will do the neck region. Cervical spondylosis is a very common disease or damage that we do to our neck bones. Because of various reasons, we sit and work like this, or we lie down in bed and with a pillow at the head. So a lot of times we give a lot of stress to our neck bones. So that area, called the cervical area, we get the bones, the joints get degenerated and give cervical spondylosis. It's a very, very common disease. So we will do this exercise. There are 3 stretches and 3 strengthening exercises that we will do for the neck. So remember, this position, the normal position, is when you are breathing in. As you are moving away from the normal position, you are breathing out. And when you are coming back, you are breathing in. So take a breath, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So as you're going, you're breathing out. As you're coming back, you're breathing in. Do it in a smooth motion, no jerky motion. So you do it 5 plus 5. There is 5 times this side, 5 times that side. And then the last time, you go there and you hold it for some time. Similarly on the other side. So first you do the movement, then you go and hold, go and hold. These muscles here, they will get loosened up and they will get beautifully activated. Now we do the second neck exercise. Again breathing in, then moving. Breathe in, breathe out. And so on. So you do this 5-5, then you hold the last time. You exhale. So you have done this movement, you have done this movement, now we will do movement forward and back. Again, as you are going back and forward, you are breathing out. When you are coming back, you are breathing in. Do it 5 times and then you hold. So in all three, when you are holding in a non-normal position, you have exhaled completely. That is called a kumbhaka, Vajra kumbhaka, where there is no air. So with that condition, you hold as long as you can. You see what happens is when you release the air, that is, and then do the movement, that is when you soften your muscles, you loosen your muscles, you do Shitila. When you are lifting weight to build muscle, then you inhale. But when you are loosening, softening, then you exhale. So this is the general principle of all these loosening exercises. As you are trying to go away from the normal and trying to loosen your muscles, you exhale. Now we will do 3 strength building exercises for the neck. I mean, I cannot overstate how important these neck exercises are, because if you have trouble, it becomes bad. I had cervical spondylosis when my son was born and he was a little heavy. And one day the situation was so bad that I had gone to do some shopping. On the way back home, I had to decide whether to leave my shopping bag on the road or my son on the road. I just could not carry both. So be a little careful. That time I was not an old man, I was a young man. Still, because of my bad habits, I had acquired this problem. But right now, fortunately, I do not have it at all. Now we do strength building exercises. Again, 3 sides. You put your hand like this. Now, because it is strength building, you inhale and push with your hand and push with your head back. So you are pushing the hand forward and pushing your head back, but actually nothing is moving. So take a deep breath. As long as you can hold the breath, you stay in that position. Then you do the opposite. You push the hand back and you push the head forward. Again, nothing will move.
Excuse me, sir.
You will immediately feel your whole region totally relaxed. It is so refreshing. I can't tell you how refreshing it is. Okay, the next one is side. So you put your hand on the side and again take a deep breath, push the hand this side, push the head this side. And do it as long as you can hold the breath. Do it on the other side. So this whole region. Now we do the last strength building exercise. You cup your hands, put your chin here. The head should remain straight. Push the hand up, put the chin down. Right. So we have covered the fingers, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and the neck. The last positioning exercise we'll do today is for the spine. I need a little bit of space, so you will not see my head. The spine again will move in 3 different directions. It will move forward and backward. It moves side to side. And then it will move on the z-axis. So 3 different movements on the 3 different axes. We'll start with the z-axis. Put your feet slightly apart, parallel or slightly, askew, and ensure that you are standing firmly on your mat or on the ground. Bring your hands up to your chest, which should be parallel or horizontal. And then you take a deep breath, and as you release the breath, you go to one side. Then you breathe in again. As you breathe out, you go to the other side. And do this in a smooth movement. No jerk, no pressure. Do it in a swinging motion, as if you are rotating a pendulum horizontally. You have rotated your spine beautifully. The same action you also can do in other ways. You can do it lying down, you can do it in Ardha Matsasana, where the spine is rotated like this in the z-axis. This one you are doing with breathing, and this is a movement. So it is not an asana, it is an exercise. Loosening exercise, where with breathing you are doing the movements. Now we will do the movement of this axis. So you stand with your feet apart. comfortably apart. This is what Padma did yesterday. Beautifully she did. Now you will turn to one side. The hands will remain, in one line. Your head will turn towards the upper hand, and the lower hand will try to touch your feet as low as possible. So you take a deep breath, then you exhale and do the movement. As you are coming back, you do inhale. If you have noticed what Pranayama did yesterday, she bent to touch her feet. She is so flexible. So do not worry. Everybody is different. You do practice, you will do it more and more. Now we will bend forward and backward. Again, you stand with your feet apart. You breathe in as you push your hands up and back, and you breathe out as you go down. But again, do it in a smooth movement. No forcing, pushing, nothing. Go on. This is the
Sir, you are muted.
yeah. Sorry. Okay. I had planned to do the breathing, the dog, tiger, and rabbit breathing. What I will do, I will do it very quickly without explanation because they have already explained it yesterday. All right. Second one. This is the third one. So I had demonstrated yesterday. So I am not doing it today in detail because we are running out of time. So I will now do two or three asanas, and then we will go on to pranayama and Prashanti and Nada. Yesterday you have seen a lot of asanas, and hence I am not going to do too many of them, but to honor International Yoga Day, I do 2-3 of them. So I'll start with Bhujangasana. You lie down in prone position. This is called Makarasana. Then you put your hands here. And before you do the asana, what you can do is, you can lift your body up and down a few times, just to get the movement going, and then do the asana. As you move up, you breathe in. As you move down, you breathe out. The reason why I do this, for the asana, it is nowhere mentioned that you should do the movement. But the reason I do it is that if I do this movement, I ensure that when I'm doing the asana, I am not suddenly getting a cramp or pulling a muscle or hurting myself. So this is just to ensure that I am whatever asana I am going to do is not going to hurt me or cause any harm to me. So having done that, having realized that yes, my body is ready to do it, I do Bhujangasana. You stay much longer. I stay just for a few seconds. You stay much longer in Bhujangasana, and you can also do Dhanurasana. We have discussed all that yesterday, so I did. Now I want to do what is called Ardha Salavasana. Yeah. This is also a prone asana. You lift one leg at a time as you breathe in. So, again I will lift my legs a few times and then I will go into the asana. So in this asana, you have inhaled, holding the breath in Kumbhaka, and then doing the lift asana. Purna Savasana, you lift both the legs and keep. Now I do what is called Ustrasana. This we have seen yesterday is called the Vajrasana position. So you sit in Vajrasana, then you get up, then you hold your heels and bend your body forward. So these are some asanas that we have done. Now, I want to practice. Yesterday we discussed Kapalbhati and Nadi Shuddhi. These were very important. So I want to practice Kapalbhati first and then show you one bandha or the Uddiyana bandha. So Kapalbhati, you can sit in any comfortable position. I will be sitting in what is called the Siddhasana. Hands on my knees. I will use my abdominal muscles to force air out by pulling it in forcefully. Air will automatically come out. I don't have to do anything with my nose or lungs. And air will automatically come back. So this is Kapalbhati. Extremely beneficial, extremely beneficial. While it helps you with your brain functions, it also helps you with your abdominal and chest functions. It's a beautiful socha as it is called. It's not really a pranayama. And then I want to show you Uddiyana. I don't know how to show it. So what you do is, whether standing, sitting in any position, you pull your abdominal muscles slowly to the back. So the air will go out, the abdominal muscles will pull the whole stomach back towards the spine, and you will hold in that position as long as you can. Since the air will go out, it will be a kumbhaka, bhashya kumbhaka. So, depending upon your lung capacity, as long as you can hold, you hold. So, I am going to do it standing. So, I will do like this, slightly bend.
Sir, your
So, my
face.
stomach is actually.
Okay. Face. We cannot see your face.
Yeah, I know, but actually, I need to show my tummy.
Okay.
That's why I am moving like this.
Right. Okay. Right.
I don't know if you can see my tummy movement. No, you can't see. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What you do is you use abdominal muscles to push. So this, as I discussed yesterday, is the best bandha. The Siddhasana, that this is the way you sit. Your left heel is between your genital and anal region. Your right heel is on the left foot. Your hand in some mudra, any mudra. So this is the best asana for dhyana. Uddiyana is the best bandha, and A is the best sound. So now that I have shown you one bandha, we will now do Nadi Shuddhi. We will chant Aum, and then we will do or Prashanti, which will end the session. So I am not going to give a lot of commentary now. I will be doing Nadi Shuddhi. Please see if you can do it yourself. So I just explain Nadi Shuddhi again. You hold your hand in what is called the Nashika Mudra. Your index finger and middle finger are bent, and you have these other three fingers up. Now, this is on the right hand. You use the thumb to hold your right nose. You use the ring finger to hold your left nose. So this is called Nashika Mudra. Whenever you are doing Anulom Vilom, please use this mudra. Right? Sit in any position. Any particular asana you want to sit, you sit on a chair, doesn't matter. But please use this Nashika Mudra. Then you start by closing your right nose and exhaling through the left. Then you inhale through the left. Then you change your fingers, close the left, exhale through the right, and inhale through the left. That is a count of 4, one round. You do 37 count. That means after 9 rounds, you do one more final releasing from the left nostril. So I will do it. Obviously, I cannot give any commentary. I will do this 37 counts now. You can completely do any asana in the sense that if you want to do it for say 30 seconds, you can stop it at 5 seconds. But when you do Nadi Shuddhi, you must complete at least 9 times plus 1. So you might have noticed that all the other asanas and Kapalbhati and everything I get in a hurry. Because we have limited time. But Nadi Shuddhi, please always do minimum 9 into 4 plus 1. This 37 counts. And after that, please do this Om mantra or Om chant 3 times. The last activity that I want to show you, but we do not have time, is Prashanti, which I explained yesterday. So I will just lie down for 1 minute, but actually you need to do it for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. And this Prashanti, when you do, suppose you have gone out and you had a very rough time, lot of work, very hectic, you had disagreement with the shopkeeper or the parking attendant or whatever, and you come back home. If you just do this for 10-15 minutes, all the stress will go out of you. So I will show it to you. I mean, there is nothing to show, it's all internal. The only showing is that I will be in Savasana pose. So I will be in Savasana pose for a minute and then I will explain briefly what it is. Yesterday I have discussed it, but I will do it again today. So this is the Savasana pose, where you are lying on your back, your feet slightly apart, toes pointing outside, your palms are facing up, slightly away from the body. You are relaxing your body, and you are relaxing it. You inhale. As you exhale, you relax part of the body from the head down. Again, you do an inhale and relax another part of the body. And always be conscious which part of the body you are relaxing. So you relax the top, and come down with each exhalation. Then come down here, then come down to the shoulder bones, come down to the arms. So I will just do up to my arms. So what I did just now was, Then with each exhalation, I relax, 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 relax. And when I'm saying I relaxed, initially you may not feel it, but as you keep doing it consciously over time, you will actually find that you can relax each part of the body that you are focusing on. So please relax up to the toe, step by step, being fully conscious of which part you are relaxing and actively and consciously relaxing yourself, and then be in that position for some time. Then forget about breathing, forget about the body, just focus in the middle of your eyes and stay there in that position for 5-10 minutes. After that, you leave your body and go somewhere else. You go somewhere so that you can see the body is lying on the ground, but you are observing it as an observer. You are not in the body, you are outside the body. This is not very easy, but it's not very difficult. It took me a little time, but it happened. So it's not something that only great sadhakas can do. All of us can do it. It happens. I got benefited because I did scuba diving. That gave me a beautiful platform. Before I did scuba diving, I used to actually go up in the sky and watch the ocean and the waves and a tiny boat on the wave on the ocean and the clouds around me, and I used to be floating. But after I did scuba diving, I float underwater, weightless, motionless, no action, no activity. The whole world is connected to me because when you're in the ocean, you can go from any part of the world to any other part through the ocean. The whole world is connected to me. Yet I am in a limited place. I can only see up to some place. But the whole world, the whole earth is connected to me through the ocean, and that is what I do. You do your own way. And then you turn to one side and get up slowly. And finally what you do is, you rub your hands, generates some heat. You have all studied electricity, so you know that it also generates static electricity. So you do that, and then with that heat, you rub all the sweat, perspiration that you have back into your body. Why you do it, I don't know, but it's very clearly written that you should do this. You should not wipe it off. You should rub your hands. And then, all this while your eyes are closed, then you cover your eyes. You slowly open your eyes, just to see your hand. Then you see yourself. Then you see the world. And then you are back into the normal daily life. I want to chant. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhabhaga Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar.